A little pressure is good for a boy as it keeps him on his toes. This is a quote from one of my favorite books, Gym Candy by Carl Dueker. I chose this quote to illustrate the book because it really shows and goes along with the theme of this book. It shows that a little bit of pressure is good in a sense, but once you continue to add more and more, it can only lead to a bad outcome. The setting of this book is in Shills Hole High School. This is where Mick Johnson goes to school at. Mick Johnson is a football player who's pressured by his dad, Mike. Mike tells his son that he was an NFL player who was battling an injury which made him retire from football. Mick believed him and told everybody at school and was always bragging about him. But Mick also wanted to be like his dad, and to get there he thought he needed to train harder. So he thought he would get on to a lifting program. So he goes to a local gym called Popeyes, where he meets his trainer, Peter Voles. Peter Voles introduces him to steroids, where Mick gets addicted. After Mick gets addicted, his life starts a downhill spiral. He gets embarrassed, he has roid rage, and overall his life is just spiraling out of control. Drew Carney, Mick's best friend, is starting to realize something's up, where they have a confrontation about it. But after he confronts him, something terrible happens, and you will have to read the book to find out what this is. But some of the characters here learned a lesson, especially Mick. Mick learned that cheating is never the way to get where you want to be. He tried to cheat and ended up losing a lot of his life, and he lost everything he was known for. Mike learned that you can't pressure your kids as much, because if you pressure your kids, then this could only lead to them creating bad outcomes, trying to live up to the pressure you're putting on them. And Drew learned that you have to be there for your friends, even if they're making decisions that you don't think are right. And Peter Voles learned that all choices have consequences. He was only trying to help Mick, but ended up taking away all of his life. Now, the theme of this, which I mentioned earlier, I believe there are two themes. The first one is regret. Mick, in the end, regrets taking his steroids, and he also regrets bragging about his dad after he learned some shocking details about it. The steroids changed his life completely, and he will never have what he once did. And all this he can now regret, which is showing that you don't want to do things that you can regret because you can't change them once they're done and over with. Also, though, another theme that I believe is choices have consequences. Mick saw this after he took the steroids. He was doing good for a while, but that caught up with him. So if it's a good choice and has a good consequence, that's good. But in Mick's case, it was a bad choice which had a bad consequence, which just ended badly overall. So I can relate well to this book, which is one of the reasons that I liked it so well. As I'm a student athlete in high school, and I'm attempting to better myself every day just as Mick was. But I have to understand that the choices that I make have consequences. So if you're a student athlete, then this also could be a book for you. But if you're just a reader and you like to read about sports or even a little bit of high school drama, then this would be a great book for you. Once again, the book is Gym Candy by Carl Dueker.